In a time where comic book adaptations dominate entertainment, more and more studios and networks are trying to dip their hand in the pot of gold that Disney holds with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The CW, there's the Arrowverse, such as Arrow, Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow. With Netflix, there's Umbrella Academy, October Faction, and Lock and Key. Boom Studios, most notable for their Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comics, is planning for 5 of their titles to be adapted into shows, one of which is being picked up by Sci-Fi. And speaking of Sci-Fi, they've tried adapting comic books into television shows before with Happy, Winona Earp, and Deadly Class, but most notable was their most recent adaptation, Vagrant Queen. Vagrant Queen is an adaptation of the Vault comic book series written by Magdalene Visaggio and illustrated by Jason Smith. The story follows the life of former queen turned scavenger and outlaw, Elida, whose past has caught up with her when an old frenemy, Isaac, returns with news about her long-lost mother. Elida, alongside Isaac and mechanic Amay, are forced to return to her broken kingdom to stage a rescue attempt of her mother before her childhood foe, Commander Lazaro, finds them. Or I can sum this up properly in one sentence. Discount Guardians of the Galaxy, but with no humour and bad acting. So some time ago, a group of us on Discord decided to watch the first episode of Vagrant Queen. Why? Obviously, we just hate life and love suffering. And it was probably one of the most painful moments I've gone through. And trust me, I once asked a girl out, she didn't give me an answer, and several or so days later, she started dating another girl. Now that's a mad yikes big mood moment right there. And since I had to suffer through watching one episode of Vagrant Queen, you all get to experience secondhand suffering courtesy of me giving my thoughts about it. Fun times ahead. The episode begins with Elida scavenging when she's confronted by 2 other scavengers. And I'll let you guess what their names are. Given they are aliens, it would be something different, something not in the English language, something like Zal or Torlin. Given up, their names are Nigel and Carl. Very imaginative indeed. Despite being outnumbered, Elida is able to use a discount miniature Green Goblin razor blade to cut off Nigel's arm, prompting him to react like this. This makes Attaway General look like a work of Shakespeare, and granted, this is the acting in Attaway General.
Come on, dude. You're the last one. You have to eat. Hey, don't ignore me.
Hey, Jack, maybe try a gentler approach.
Hey, that's mine!
Eat your food.
What are you doing? You can't just force him. Here, let me try.
Yeah, it's bad, but it's hilariously bad because these are not actors. They are TikTok stars trying to act. In Vagrant Queen, they are actors. They're not social media influencers trying to act. Their profession is to act. And after a poorly choreographed fight scene, Elida delivers these terrible one-liners as she kills both Carl and Nigel. And in an attempt of humour, I guess, she's aware that she's bad at them. It's not funny. But anyway, and we're followed up with the most generic and bad title card sequence I've ever seen. I'm guessing that's all they had left in the budget because they definitely blew it on these. This looks like a kid show. Like, legitimately, this is the kind of, animation quality and graphics that they would have for, a sci-fi kids show. We arrive at Zyva Station? Who cares? We arrive at Space Station, with the location subtitle being Another Galaxy Not Yours. This same subtitle was used in the intro for the planet, whatever it was, Elida was on. I have no idea why it comes off so passive-aggressive. If I had to guess, it's their attempt at humour, but as we've seen so far, there is none. Needing her ship to be repaired, her bartender friend Chaz recommends his sister Amay, who agrees to help Elida for only half the cost and a drink at her brother's bar. What a great business practice that is. Half the price, a beer, and the possibility of me fucking you. Considering when she's introduced, Amay is in mid-fuck sesh with someone we can only speculate is another customer. It's just this kind of awkward. This is a little bit awkward. I thought this place was for a mechanic. No, this wasn't a brothel. Anyway, meanwhile, the big bads of the show make contact with the docking clearance dude. I always said dicking clearance. Docking clearance dude that ends with that awkwardly bad forgot to hang up scene. we are introduced to the main antagonist, Commander Ori Lazaro, a particularly hammy villain, a bit cheesy. After some flashbacks, which we are oddly introduced to with YouTuber vlog music of all things, Elida is found by the big bads, one of their soldiers, and before being yeeted into space, she is saved by her frenemy Isaac, and the two come to an agreement to escape. And meanwhile, a hammy, cheesy Commander Lazaro interrogates Chaz about Elida. Now, this is probably the most interesting, well planned out scene throughout in the entire episode, and even though I have not seen the entire season, I want to say also the entire season. So how this whole thing goes down is that he's not really interrogating, he's questioning Chaz about if he knows Elida. And Lazaro recounts a moment as a child when he broke something, he lied about it to his father, only discovered that his father knew the whole time because the whole incident was recorded. And Lazaro points to the camera and reveals that the whole thing, well, he doesn't point to the camera, Chaz looks at the camera after Lazaro shows him footage of Chaz and Elida speaking to one another. This is smart. How this was set up was actually legitimately good. However, my small sheer admiration for this is trampled upon when I see the fucking camera. The camera is something you would find at a security mall. Were they so goddamn lazy? Did they blow their budget on just the graphics and the title card alone? Because, God, the set designs are terrible. As Elida is about to leave, she is met by loyalist supporters who offer her an alternative way out the station. However, discovering that Chaz has been kidnapped, she refuses, but she is knocked out, only to be rescued by one of the loyalists, Nim, a dog person? Dog, maybe? But all I can say is, that is one terrifying face. Oh boy, I'm gonna have nightmares. Ame and Isaac rescue Chaz, Elida tricks Lazaro and flees, stuff happens, blah blah blah, insert bad comedy here, not even cool looking action walk here, a pointless sacrifice, the rest flee, end episode. This is terrible. Filled with laughably bad acting, or just flat acting in general, a humorless and unlikable lead accompanied by bland to horrifying to somewhat interesting characters. Set pieces and costume designs which are just so generic and bland. There's no effort put into any of them. I mean, neon lighting in a real dark location, I've never seen that before. God, that kind of set design of just like particularly neon like purple or pink lights in a real grungy dark place. It's been done to death in numerous other forms of sci-fi entertainment. And yeah, the plot is just so unoriginal, not even Tencent games would touch it. So with a terrible pilot episode, imagine my shock to find out that Vagrant Queen was cancelled. Oh god, how dare they cancel a show with such great quality. And to the people that were legitimately fans of it, I mean, if you like it, you like it, but they're trying to get other streaming services, such as Hulu, Amazon, Netflix, to try and pick it up and save it. All I can say is, best of luck. Not sure about Hulu or Amazon, but I know Netflix is more focused on creating great quality content like this. Anyway, that was Vagrant Queen episode 1. Yeah, it's bad. I even read the first issue. I thought I'll give it a comparison. The only thing I can give what the episode does more than the first issue is that not only is it boring, it has the laughably bad acting and everything else, while the first issue was just boring. And the art wasn't particularly the best, but yeah, the comic, the TV show, both bad. They are both bad. So that is it for the video. Thank you all for watching. You can follow me on all my social medias, whatnot. You can catch me on twitch.tv/OzChris774. I stream almost every day, probably like for 4 days a week, mainly playing Dark Souls 3. But I've probably, by the time this video comes out, I've spiced it up a little. I've been Oscris, and I'll see you, and we'll suffer together in the next one.